Welcome back, everybody. Jaysin Static with another episode of the interview series. I am Jaysin Static. You, sir, are.
I am Sadie Blaze.
And how long have you been in the wrestling industry, Sadie?
26 years.
26 years. That's a good while. Good while. All right, man. You know this deal. I got two questions for you. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Reflecting on the positive aspects of life, what do you value the most? Whether it be in wrestling or just in your life personally.
Probably the lessons that I've learned from people that I've come in contact with over the years.
Okay.
And it doesn't always mean that it's somebody older than I am or a mentor or anything, but it could just be a young kid that's got a really good attitude on life, or somebody that's got a lot of desire, a lot of passion. I'm really into writing, and I read a lot of books.
Yeah.
And there's been several authors, like really obscure people, that have just said
You got
sentences.
anybody?
Andrew Vax is the number one. A lot of stuff that he's written really resonates with me.
Okay.
I got to meet him.
Oh, wow.
We had a real quick minute exchange, and it was one of the best things I've ever had. Like one of the best experiences.
What type of books does he end up doing?
He does basically crime noir.
Oh, okay.
But he was a lawyer. He was a children's rights activist. He went after people that preyed on children.
Oh, okay.
And he in his books, he created a whole world of people that were outcasts of society, or kids that were abused and grew up into adults trying to find their way.
Yeah.
Called them, he had like a whole group that put together, and they just figured out how to live.
Right.
In the context of like all this murder and stuff like that.
Right. Now, in the context of wrestling, what do you value the most in wrestling? Because you've been around for a long time. You're one of the main trainers of Dynamo Pro Dojo and Dynamo Pro Wrestling and everything. What is something that you value over the years of working with Dynamo and everything like that?
I mean, I've made lifelong friends.
Yeah.
You always hear about the drama and this person hates that person, all this stuff. And I mean, I've made 30 lifelong friends, people that I got it. So I'm a lot older than a lot of my friends.
Right.
I don't have children.
Okay.
But I have a lot of children. I know that if I'm 75 or 80 and I live in an old folks home or whatever, that I'm still going to have people coming to visit me.
Right.
I've got people, I've got a lot of younger friends that I'm not going to be an old alone guy.
Right.
And at this point in my life and in my career, I think that's probably one of the most important things. Yeah,
because something that I've realized over the last several years of me, messing with the Fight Club crew guys and stuff like that. A lot of those guys that I got, and now that I'm back kind of into the industry a little bit more, and I'm interacting with more people, a lot of the guys being younger, and I'm kind of the old guy now. And that dynamic of understanding of like when we got into the business back in the day, and then us not being on good terms with some of the old guys because we were little hotheads and stuff like that. And now us being the old guys, and we're all like, oh man, and we're trying not to be like what we were, what we had or anything like that. I think that's the biggest dynamic change that I've had, and something that I value a lot is actually being like, not teaching people the mistakes that I made, and being like, I know you're your own person, but try not to make this mistake in particular.
Right. And, as you were talking, there are two other things I'm going to say really quickly. One of the things is being able to experience this business with my best friends.
Right.
Jim and Crystal, we got involved in wrestling together, and we're still running wrestling shows together.
Oh, that's good.
And then the other thing is just the perspective that the young people give me.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up in a punk rock world, where we hated everybody that was older than us because they didn't know anything.
Yeah.
And
they're squares.
Yeah. I feel like I'm in a really good position to not be the old guy that knows everything.
Right.
Because I'm around young people, and I don't look at, like, I have guidelines about what wrestling is supposed to be.
Right.
But I look at wrestling through the eyes of the young people because that's where we're going.
Right. And man, I'm almost the exact same way. I'm like, when I started back in 2007, and even when you started, it's such a different marketplace in the industry now compared to what I was in it. Mm-hmm. Like whenever I started in 2007, that was like at the very beginning of the indie boom. Right. And now that the indie boom is kind of like, it's really blooming and people can actually do really good stuff on the indies now. it's a whole different market and it's a whole different mindset. So like, I've got to be like, okay, I understand that the young guys are always going to be the young guys. It happened with my era. Whenever I started, it happened with the guys before me, and it happened with the guys. Hell, even go back in the day, like Luthez was talking crap about Harley. Yeah. You know, so like it's a circular business, and everything comes around. So, and my mindset is I got to try to be better than what I was back in the day, and try to lead people in a better direction to help them benefit themselves in today, not where I was back in, you know, early 2000s. But I appreciate the first question, man. Thank you. Sadie Blaze. Second question. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
What has been the biggest risk that you've taken in your career, and was it worth it?
Jesus. Every day is a risk.
Right.
You know? And yes, it's been absolutely worth it.
Yeah.
Biggest risk, I don't know. I mean, I did a 20-foot no-look fall off a ladder through a table.
Oof.
That was pretty risky.
Yeah.
I think I'm just gonna go with that one.
Yeah.
And was it worth it? It's all been worth it.
Yeah.
People ask me, I started in wrestling when I was 28.
Yeah.
And people ask me, you know, all these years later, what would you do differently? And I don't believe in regret. I believe in lessons.
Yeah.
But one thing I would do differently is I would have started when I was 18 instead of 28.
Right.
Because then I would have 30 plus years instead of 20 plus.
That was, oddly enough, that's right around the time that I started too.
Yeah.
I started, I'm 42 now, and I started right around 27, 28. And if that's something that, if I'm looking back now, I wish I would have, I wish I would have started in 2000.
Right.
Whenever I was 18, 19, instead of, you know, 2007. Yeah. You know, but like, I don't have any regrets. Really, I mean, there's things that I wish I would have done different.
Sure.
You know, but do I regret any of it? No, because it's like you said, it's all been a lesson the entire time. You know, and if you're not growing in wrestling and you're not trying to learn, and you know, if you think you know everything right away and everything like that, sometimes depending on who you come in contact with, that might not actually turn out too well for you. Yeah. You know, especially in the era that we grew up in, that's not going to work out for you too well if you think you know everything. You know, so like my big thing is like just listening and learning, and even like in the previous question, you know, even some of these young cats nowadays, you can actually learn stuff from these young cats too. You know, so like, you know, like I don't think I ever did anything super risky. I mean, I took some risky bumps. Yeah. You know, like gorilla press slams from the inside of the ring to the outside. Yeah. Flat back bumps and stuff like that. But like big giant risky, like I don't think I personally ever did anything like that. I was never in a hardcore match.
Oh wow.
You know, so like I don't have any like huge risk. My huge risk was, you know, ridiculous bumps. Right. You know, but that was kind of the thing in the early 2000s was, you know, the more risque bumps.
I know.
Yeah.
There was a couple road trips that were pretty risky.
Yeah, how so?
Probably should have been where we were, but you know,
right.
There was a show we did out in the middle of I don't even know where, Kansas. It was somewhere. We just drove and found this place called the Rainbow Room.
Oh wow!
That was literally the last piece of English that we heard or read the rest of the night.
That sounds like an interesting place.
It was fine. I mean, the show was great. It had a good crowd, all that stuff. But as we were leaving, they were converting it all into like a nightclub, and it was just gang member after gang member.
Oh wow!
Gang member. We were like, let's go.
Yeah, let's get out of here. Let's like I remember I've done some really like ones like there was one in Southern Illinois. I don't even remember what the company was, but it was literally in a barn. Like and it was just dirt floors, and I'm just like, how did I get here?
That's when you know you're gonna have fun.
Yeah, but oddly enough, it was funny is because that was the first time I met Ricochet. Oh, cool. And Ricochet was like brand new back in the day, you know, and he was actually on that show, and like it was a fun show, but it was in a barn, you know, and there was literally barnyard animals around. One of the training places that I trained in Pennsylvania, it was literally on a cow farm. And it was their training ring was in one of the barns in the cow farm. Like you could literally see fucking hundreds of cows around us and everything. But so like there's all kinds of wild things. But man, we're gonna wrap this up. You got anything to promote?
September 20th and 21st, Dynamo Pro will be at Arnold Days in Arnold's big Arnold Festival 2-day carnival thing. We're out there on Friday night 5 to 9 and all day Saturday 11 to 9.
When you guys going to be back in the Farmington area?
Farmington, we're back October 19th.
That's down by my neck of the woods. Other than that, you got anything else to promote? Merch sites, websites, other businesses and stuff like that?
CHWA, October 26th in Edwardsville at the American Legion.
All right, man. I appreciate this. We're going to run this out just like we always do. Jaysin Static across all social media. Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. Fight Club Wrestling Academy on Facebook, YouTube. That's where we're at right now. Please run these comments up. Tell me if you like Sadie. I like Sadie. Do you guys like Sadie? And last but not least, weare138co.com. That's the website. That's where you get the Jaysin Static merch, the Fight Club merch, and the super secret weapon, the 138 streetwear. Sadie Blaze, you don't know this, and only about 109 other people know this, but now you're the 110th one. It's wrestling-based streetwear for the pro wrestler.
That's right. Nice.
All right, man. Appreciate you, Sadie. Thank you, man.
Thanks, man.